Hey guys, wanted to do a quick little video devotional for you. I know I'm driving, so some of you that's going to freak you out, but better that I'm talking to you with my eyes on the road than trying to text it or write a blog that way, right? So I was reading this morning in Psalm 133. If you look at Psalm, I think it's 33 or 31, but the very first verse says, "How good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity." And I got to be straight with you with what's gone on recently and all that's kind of going on in our world, especially in this country in the last couple weeks. That couldn't be a bigger prayer for me, and it should be the prayer of the church right now, that we would have a bunch of brothers dwelling in unity, not divided, not thinking about difference, but looking at what our common ground is. So if you think about the gospel, if you think about the goodness of the gospel, that Jesus Christ came and he died for our sins and he rose from the dead so that we might have salvation by faith alone and grace alone through him alone, that if you think about what that does, if you look at Galatians where it says that gospel is for all people, and when he says all people, he means all types of people. So and what he literally says is for Jew or Greek, barbarian or slave, for free, not free, all people, once for all. And he's not saying that all people are all saved. It's not a universalist statement. What he's saying in Galatians is that no matter your background, no matter your specific gender or race or any of that culture, the gospel doesn't see that. The gospel doesn't give you more merit or give you more right standing in God's eyes because of some sort of cultural difference or some sort of racial difference or whatever. The gospel, it sees that and it celebrates that difference, which I think is an important point. But because it doesn't get rid of difference, but it doesn't give anybody a leg up or a leg down because of one thing or the other. It creates unity. How good and pleasant it is when we dwell in unity. And if there is a call to the church right now, good gosh, that's the call to the church, right? That we would be a people united on the gospel of Jesus Christ right now, praying that the gospel would go out, praying that the gospel would change hearts, praying that the gospel would infiltrate some of the evil that we're seeing around our country right now, and that it would get in those hearts and it would change lives. And that changed life, that adoption into the fold of Christ as a son and a daughter of God, becoming heirs with God and co-heirs with Christ, that adoption would create a unity in our church and in our country that would change all of the problems we're seeing right now. And so I was seeing that this morning in Psalm 133, and I wanted to share that with you because I think if we're honest, the church in America is not doing a very good job of that. Like, we're not doing a really good job of promoting unity. We're not doing a good job of praying for unity. We see difference and we try and make that difference our prayer, or we make that difference our idol, or we make that difference what we're focused most upon. And I think if you read the Bible doesn't get rid of difference, but it also doesn't allow difference to be the main thing. Right? The gospel is the main thing. That Jesus Christ came to save all people regardless of where they're from, what their social status is, or what their race or gender is. That he came for all men and all women of any time and of any culture. And that is a uniting force for us, especially as believers. That should unite us, not divide us. That should bring men and women together, black and white together, as we link arms, not for the cause of anything else, but for the gospel. Because the gospel heals. The gospel takes care of sin. The gospel is going to be what one day comes, that sends Jesus Christ back to take away the tears, to take away the mourning, to take away the racism, to take away all sin, so that one day the gospel will physically, Christ himself will physically unite all men and all women in the church. Whether we think that's the right thing to do or not, he's going to unite all men and all women when he comes back. And read it, Revelation 22. So my hope this morning and my prayer this morning, reading Psalm 133, is that the church would look around us. We'd look in the news. We'd see the tragedy. We'd see just the craziness, the sin, the depravity, and the darkness around us. And our prayer would be unity, because the gospel in its truest form, especially when it's lived out in a Christian life, unifies. It doesn't divide us.